Hello everyone! Oh my god, it has been a long day already. Bethesda's conference is coming up, but I should talk about Xbox's E3 2019 press conference. I'm going to give you guys my general thoughts, my review on how Microsoft did. First of all, let's talk about the highlight of the show without question, Keanu Reeves showing up in the Cyberpunk 2077 trailer, followed up by him actually taking the stage and him being just so humble, so fun, so gracious on stage. He was just smiling and telling people how breathtaking they are. That's going to be etched in stone forever. That was just such a great moment, and you could see the people freaking out if you look at the audience side of things. They're just like bowing to him and standing ovation and all that. That was such a fantastic moment, and in part I'd say it kind of saved this press conference. I don't want to say that Xbox's press conference was horrible or anything. It wasn't like they completely dropped the ball. I just thought it was okay. There were a lot of solid aspects about it, but what kept this conference from achieving greatness was the fact that there was so little gameplay shown. There were a lot of trailers, but many of them were cinematic, or it was like pseudo gameplay. So you saw, for example, in the Gears 5 trailer, the escape mode that they try to show off. You got an idea for the kind of game mode this is, but it wasn't actual gameplay. You didn't actually get to see a match play out to get a solid idea of what the game looks like, how it plays, how it feels. And then Halo, we saw like a great cinematic, and it did say that was like in-game footage, so the game in terms of visual fidelity is probably going to look about that level. But, you know, it's just one cinematic teasing Halo, and then after that we got no gameplay, not even like a 5-second snippet. Hell, even Cyberpunk 2077 kind of did this, where most of what they showed was a cinematic trailer that does reveal a lot of interesting story developments. And yes, Keanu's reveal was such an amazing thing. I love him as an actor. You know, The Matrix is my favorite movie, so seeing Keanu come full circle to the cyberpunk genre with CD Projekt Red Cyberpunk 2077, that is just beautiful to me. He's just such a great human being, as well as a great action star. I mean, John Wick 3, Jesus freaking Christ. But yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, mostly cinematics, and then towards the end, when Keanu was like, do you want to know when the game comes out? There were like snippets of gameplay before the release date came up on the screen. But other than that, I mean, I wish I could have seen more of the game in action. But then again, members of the media are going to be able to go behind closed doors and check out the gameplay demo. I'll be among those attending that, so I'll report back with everything that I have. So at least we know we're going to get more gameplay. And of course, I'm assuming that, much like last time, CD Projekt Red is going to show gameplay at E3 first, and then like a month later, they'll probably release it for the general public. Now, a lot of indie games actually did show trailers featuring plenty of gameplay. A lot of indie devs seem to be going for this route, in large part, I think, because they can't actually afford to produce these epic cinematics. They have to show the game itself. But I appreciate that. I appreciate that we're seeing the game for what they are. That's way more compelling to me than some CGI cutscene that tells me absolutely nothing about the game. And there was just way too much of that during Microsoft's press conference. We did see some more Jedi Fallen Order gameplay via a trailer that showed some snippets of additional cool moments like climbing an AT-AT and a lot of various cool set pieces scattered throughout that trailer. But I think that conference just needed more of some kind of walkthrough, even if it's just 5 minutes long. Show continuous gameplay rather than epically put together gameplay trailers or cinematic stuff that is completely just devoid of any kind of tangible information in regards to the contents and the merits of the game itself. As for next-gen stuff, they talked about Project xCloud, which I think has an advantage over Stadia in that they said that they're trying to ensure that they implement Xbox, the console, as well. So you can either use Microsoft's data center to stream games, or you can use your Xbox as its own data center and stream games to whatever device you want. I think that's really cool. That way you can actually own your games on an actual piece of hardware and still stream your games, whereas Stadia, everything is kept in Google's cloud service, in their servers. You don't actually own anything, you're just getting access to it. So Project xCloud, I think, has a strong advantage on that front. As for the next Xbox itself, they didn't really say much. They announced that it was called Project Scarlet, that it is coming out sometime in fall 2020, which a lot of people predicted. Other than that, they basically said similar things to what Sony's already said before. So, they talked about AMD chips, which Sony is also using. They talked about faster loading and using solid-state drives. Sony's also said something to that effect. 120 Hz, high resolution, all of these different things we have kind of already heard about. So I think Sony was actually very smart in releasing their information first. It actually made this conference a little less impactful when they started talking about the specs and certain features that we're looking forward to. But yeah, I know they're going to show a lot more later because it's not coming out till fall 2020, so they don't really need to rush towards revealing the console. That can be done sometime early next year or maybe even during E3 next year. So I think they'll be fine in terms of marketing the next console. But in terms of making sure that this press conference gave people confidence in the future of Xbox, I'd say on that front it was a bit middling this year because they didn't really share that much that was surprising to us in terms of what to expect for next generation hardware. And then when it comes to software, again, they didn't show any games actually running live on stage, continuous gameplay. So it's just really hard to be fully confident that next-gen Xbox will actually not suffer the same fate as Xbox One, though Microsoft is still announcing new acquisitions in terms of studios. Psychonauts 2 developers just announced that they are getting acquired by Microsoft, by Xbox. And then before that, the Hellblade developers, Ninja Theory, they announced this 4v4 competitive experience, but that was also a game where we saw pseudo gameplay. The trailer did look like it was taking place in engine, but a lot of the animations were sort of canned. It was all very much cinematically put together. So there's really no details on what the game is, what the goal is, how it plays, what it looks like running when people are actually, 4v4 competing against each other. Microsoft did confirm, however, that Halo Infinite is going to be a launch title for the next Xbox. That's actually a pretty big deal. It's kind of like how Nintendo Switch launched with Zelda Breath of the Wild, and that went a long way in bolstering the initial sales of that console. I think Xbox 2 or whatever it's called launching with Halo Infinite is going to go a long way. It's a huge launch title. It's freaking Halo. It's the hallmark of Xbox, and the next generation Xbox users are getting that on day one. So that's a plus. And I'm sure we'll hear about other launch titles down the line, but just confined to this press conference alone, not enough gameplay. They could have done better. I think they had a lot of cool announcements, but they didn't follow that up with something tangible that would make people go, I see why I want that. They raised a lot of curiosity by showing all these different cinematics, but they didn't actually sell people on them. It's still a wait and see how these play before deciding if the future is very optimistic. So yeah, that's my general take. Again, not bad. Solid, middling, okay is my general impression. With the outlier being that Keanu Reeves introduction, him coming on stage. CD Projekt Red once again freaking killed it, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of that title at E3 2019. It is my most anticipated game right now. CD Projekt Red stole the show last year. I foresee them doing the same this year as well. I mean, they already kind of did with the Keanu Reeves reveal, and by the way, he plays none other than Johnny Silverhand, who is a pivotal character in the cyberpunk world. People familiar with the tabletop will know of Johnny Silverhand, and you can tell by his silver mechanical arm, and then right after the reveal, the Johnny Silverhand music plays, and so it's confirmed that Keanu Reeves is indeed playing Johnny Silverhand. But anyway, we'll talk more about Cyberpunk later in a separate video. For now, I've seen people disappointed by the Microsoft press conference. It wasn't bad, but it did underwhelm. It didn't meet the expectations that were up here. It just kind of fell short quite a bit due to the lack of proper gameplay. But I guess, on one hand, I do understand where Microsoft is coming from because they had so much to show that they had to compress everything. So I don't even know if they would have had time for an extended gameplay showcase of multiple games. But I think maybe if one game would have received a gameplay treatment, maybe Halo Infinite, because that's a big one, maybe then if with a big finisher like that, people would have looked at the conference differently. So those are my general impressions. That's my review. It's kind of like a B conference. I would say C, but the Cyberpunk 2077 stuff, the Keanu Reeves stuff, brings it up to a B. So there you have it, folks. These are my quick thoughts. Apologies if this videos a little more sporadic if the information isn't presented as organized. But yeah, I in order to keep up with E3, I have to kind of improvise a little and write down basic notes rather than structure everything like I normally do. Anyway, my review. Let me know in the comments below what your take is on the Xbox press conference, what you enjoyed, what you didn't like. Overall, what's your take? Let us know in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out!